Hello, and today we are looking at a better covenant or a better promise that we have when we've got Jesus mediating between us and God the Father as our high priest. Now, if we look in Colossians at our second reading, it talks about how we should be affected by that better covenant or promise. We should be affected by the way we live our lives, our behaviour, and we're going to look a little bit at that today in our craft. So, Rich, would you like to read step 1?
Okay, so I'll look at step 1 then. Right, step 1, put a piece of double-sided tape at the top and near the bottom of 5 strips of paper. Peel off a load of white stuff. There we go.
Okay, so if you can see, I've just left a little gap at the bottom of this paper so it doesn't stick to the straw that I'm going to wheel it round. I'm going to do this roll. Now this tape I like because you can rip it, but of course you can always use scissors as well if you would prefer.
And it's sticky both sides.
It's sticky both sides, it's double-sided tape.
It's a bit too flash, isn't it, really?
It's quite useful.
Yeah, it makes it like... You could use glue if you didn't have double-sided tape.
You definitely could use glue. You could use normal tape, but you just need to be a bit careful because you need to do some writing, so you'd need to leave a gap that didn't have tape on it.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Okay. That's right, I'll just fold that one over. So, when you've done this, you need to peel off the sticky bits, and then, I'm going to do this one at a time. You get a straw or a pencil. There is a straw in the craft kit because you'll need it in a couple of weeks for another craft.
But don't eat the straw.
Don't eat the straw because you need it for Easter Sunday.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing I'd do.
Right, here we go. So if you just roll it up, you're left with a kind of bead.
Ooh.
Okay?
And it just slides off.
It just slides off.
Right, very good.
That's quite clever. So I'm just going to do that with these before we get on to the next step. So that was 1.
So you put the straw before the sticky bit?
You put the straw before the sticky bit because otherwise the paper would stick to the straw and you'd need to cut around it and it would just be a bit careful.
Yeah, I was wondering now. I was like,
see, I thought of these things.
You're ripping off the straw.
If you were really careful and put the sticky tape nearer the end than I have, you wouldn't get these little flappy bits, but we can always cut those off later. Right, here we go. Next one.
So you're starting right in the end and then giving it a good old
starting right at the
roll.
end and rolling and trying to keep it fairly tight and straight as I roll, which as you can see, as I've gone a little bit wobbly on this one, is sometimes easier said than done. Okay, there you go. That's bead number 3. 2 more to go.
Here we go, no pressure. Get a drum roll in the background there.
Okay, I'm getting there now, look. That one was a better one. 1 more to go. And a pile of double-sided sellotape backs. Right, while I do this next one, Rich, why don't you start reading step 2?
Okay, step 2, here we go. Right, so label each bead with the words from Colossians 3:12-14. I'll zoom in a bit more. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. The sort of things you see on a school wall, and they trying to make their school look flash.
Now, these are the first 5 things they tell us to clothe ourselves with, but Colossians actually talks about some other things as well. So if you wanted to choose slightly different words, you could choose those. I'm just going to write mine on now. So this is compassion.
It doesn't really matter if you spell these wrong.
Kindness. No, it doesn't matter if you spell them wrong. Humility. And you could draw pictures that mean these things if you were really careful.
Yeah, it's really easy to draw a picture which says humility as well.
Well, I thought it was easier to write the word too. Gentleness and patience. But for patience, you could like draw a clock or something like that. And
or a card game.
For kindness, you could draw love hearts. There are things you could do. Now, the next bit of the step, Rich.
Yes, here we go. Thread the beads onto some elastic to make a bracelet. Oh, look,
So
there's some elastic.
you've got some
there.
elastic in your craft kit if you get a craft kit. If not, just some normal elastic or string that you found at home would be fine. Or you could use wool. Elastic is good because it makes the bracelet stretchy.
An old shoelace could do it. It'd
An
have to
old
be a bit,
shoelace.
like, wouldn't be stretchy now, would it?
It wouldn't be stretchy, but you could do it. You just have to have a baggier bracelet. Now, obviously, again, when I finish this craft, I can put it into my treasure box if I would like to, or I might choose to wear it. So, it's the last one to thread in now. I'm just going to push these along a little bit.
Centering them up, are we? Yeah.
And then
What sort of knots are we doing here?
to the end. So I'll do the same sort of knot I did last week. So if I put the elastic around my fingers, and then put the 2 ends through that loop, and then we've got a hole, and we've got our bracelet with all of those words from 3 Colossians that remind us how to live in that better covenant or that better promise with Jesus. That's today's craft.